Hey guys, so we are here today with another twin flame reading. The energies have been a little odd, I want to say. There's been a little bit of a shift between a lot of the divine feminine and what divine masculine is feeling. Um, I'm being guided to do this reading as a more open ended reading regarding what's going on with the twin flame dichotomy in the twin flame journey between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, but I also welcome any messages outside of twin flame union regarding what to expect the next couple of weeks. And I also welcome messages about the divine feminine or whoever's watching this video regarding their career or focus and being in their power. I know a lot of divine feminines have been a lot more, a lot of the collective, a good amount of the collective has been a little bit more disattached the last couple of days or weeks. And I think, yes, I'm being guided to say that the reason that's happening is because the divine masculine does need to be a little bit more in introspective without the power and energy of the divine feminine. I think a lot of us can say that it's a little bit of a breath of fresh air to be focused more on what our divine journey and mission is. Um, and I'm also getting a lot of them are coming into the twin flame experience or just realizing that they're in a twin flame dichotomy or situation. And there's a good amount of people that are maybe just starting in the journey. So that being said, ascended masters, 5D and above, divine angels, being source. I welcome all of you from the light to come in and guide the divine masculine or feminine as they are in this journey and guide from source through me anything divine beings watching this video need to see or watch. So, with that being said, what is the ruling energy right now surrounding the twin flame? Okay, so two cards wanted to come out. So, the answers you need are coming, and you're very close to achieving your goal. So, what I'm getting from that is that those answers, there's a lot of things that are uncertain. And what I mean by that, and I think what makes different, a little bit of a difference between now and prior, is that what I feel is uncertain and what's coming through me is that there was a point where everything, and everything is divinely guided for those who have surrendered into being divinely guided. And that includes, divine will and the all-consuming emotions. Oh, I'm getting a lot of messages. Okay, so those that are being guided to uh, that are overwhelmed energetically and emotionally by the energy of the divine masculine, getting that for that collective, do not there's no need to try to disattach. This is part of the normal journey. For the other, getting that um, what is divinely guided is those of us that have surrendered to the divine into the light and to allow source through work through us for the greater good of the world around us, for divine union, for unconditional love. However, for those that have not, as we ascend into the 5D and into the higher dimensions, what I'm getting is that it, due to their free will, um, there is uncertainty as to it's not like the path has been written out for a lot of these divine masculines. And so, but with that being said, the answers are coming regarding that is going to be communicated to us, whether it be through the divine masculine or through a channeled message that we might see later in this reading, is what I'm getting. In conjunction with that, a lot of the divine beings watching this right now, what I'm getting from you're very close to achieving your goal is I'm getting you're close to achieving your goal regarding self union and being in your alignments and being in your power. And it is almost a feeling of still loving the divine masculine or feminine, whatever resonates with you. But in that same respect, being to the ultimate goal of being in our power and in our divine mission and in unconditional love, rather and just are I'm also getting the I haven't drawn Nine of Pentacles and Ten of Pentacles, but I'm getting that on the financial sense, a lot of those the what the divine feminine has had above is going to now manifest below. Those of you guys that have done your work in the 5D and that have gone through that journey, you will begin to see that the work that you are doing is beginning to manifest. You're going to also see, I'm getting that there's going to be a lot more clarity as to what happens next for those who have surrendered to the divine. You will get that kind of messaging very clearly. And it will not be as burdensome as, we can learn things mercifully or not mercifully, depending on how willing we are to be attuned and to let the greater good of all and our inner child and our mission work through us, our passion, whatever that may be. I'm getting that for those that are in their alignments and that are clear about their passion. They're going to start seeing clear actions and results as to what to do next. So I don't even know why I was trying to pick up from this. Like I just kind of went for it, and so these cards came out. So this goes back to so the cards that came out is Keter and Null or Dot, emptiness. So what I'm getting is that for the feminines that have surrendered and they're that are, or masculines, whatever resonates, that are attuned to what is being, a lot of messages from, I think, one of the live viewers. That's I can't see the screen. I'm not looking at the screen, but I'm getting that they want a little bit almost like more rapid answers or more clarity, or and so I feel like that is part of the I'm getting like there's a hurry up and wait energy, and I think that goes back to a little bit of like divine timing, and time space is a linear 3D illusion. With that said, as we are becoming more attuned to our spirituality and to our greater mission and goal, the divine masculine right now feels very empty regarding where they feel lost with no direction is the message I'm getting. For things are moving really, really fast, and they are not as attuned spiritually. I'm meaning that a lot of them are rejecting their like their inner guidance, and so they're feeling increasingly empty. And there's also if you look at this card, there's almost like all these little like worlds of options around them, but through them it just empty, like empty in their heart space, empty leading to their sacral space. So they feel lost with no direction, not only mentally and emotionally, but I almost feel like it's almost the inverse of what the divine feminine is feeling regarding like the disattachment to a lot of the feminines that have been feeling disattached to the pain of the connection, or to the burn of the connection. They're feeling disattachment to the things they've been holding on to 3D, leaving them with nothing left, because that's been for a lot of them their priority. So what is happening right now that is holding the divine masculine back, that is happening in their financial world? I'm being guided that there's some clarity that needs to come through as to what's happening in their finances. And so is it Two of Swords in reverse? And not just your finances, but what is preoccupying them in the 3D space that's keeping them from reaching out? Oh, okay. So there's a lot. Okay. So getting the Emperor, the Three of Wands, the King of Wands, and the World. So this is interesting because it's right now what I'm getting from the King of Wands and the Three of Wands is that, and the Emperor came out for confirmation, is that right now there a lot of them, and the Two of Swords, are very anxious regarding the uncertainty for the material world that they've been chasing. What I'm also getting from the King of Wands here is that there's a lot of uh, almost like paranoia. I feel like we are going a little crazy in the sense that they're used to, a lot of these masculines have been used to controlling the narrative, and almost having what the illusion of control of their life or their financial sense. And now they're feeling not just here lost, so they're feeling empty in their heart space and in their spiritual space, as opposed to the feminine. Um, and with that being said, all they're left with is the derivative emotions. And what I mean by that is, hate, anger, any of those lower vibrational energies. They're not actually real emotions. They're emotions of the ego per se, a control, anxiety, paranoia. Those are all derivatives of not being in touch and attuned to your higher self or your inner child or your mission or anything spiritual for that matter. So as they are being left empty emotionally and mentally, it's almost like their ego is in a lot of ways in high gear regarding what's happening next, because they are used to at least having the illusion they have some idea of what to do next or what's coming next, and now they really don't. I don't know why I reached out for this, but I feel like a message was coming through regarding that, and I feel like the message that's coming through regarding that is what the feminine can do. So yeah, so what the feminine can do as they're going through this is, the card that came out is you're profoundly clairvoyant. Trust what you see in your mind and in your mind's eye, as well as your psychic sight. For your spiritual vision helps you with healing, teaching, and guidance. So what I'm getting from this, in conjunction with the King of Wands, is that it's almost like, I almost want to say like the training wheels are off for a lot of the divine feminine. Um, and is not that we don't love the divine masculine anymore, or any less. I don't know why I feel like I need to say that, but it's not about that. It's about the fact that, if for a lot of the feminines, it's almost transcending the all-consuming emotions that was ruling us regarding the divine masculine, and that's not really, that is their heat, that is their flame to deal with now, is what I'm getting. So that consumption that plagued the divine feminine before, of the longing and the wanting to be with the divine masculine, that all-consuming energy is now being assumed by the divine masculine, or the other counterpart. With that, I'm also getting that for those of us that went through the almost like the dark night of the soul experience the last year, that a lot of our lives fell apart, things got very difficult. Their experience of that, as within, so without, is what I'm getting. So not only are they experiencing that in the, I almost want to say, what we felt all consuming, they're feeling a void. So it's almost like they feel disattached from everything except their ego, and that's where the crazy wonderland feeling is coming from. I'm also getting that, what we perceive to be almost like wonderland in the 5D of love and possibilities and things that we can accomplish, that for them was the inverse of, they don't know what they want, where they're going. And I'm getting that a lot of them felt that they had direction, that they had, like, I want to do this. And so, a lot of the masculines are like, well, I'm just want to moving, like, onwards and forwards or whatever. And what they're coming to realize now is that there is no onward and forward if you don't know who you are or what you want in life, and you're not attached to your spirituality, which they have not been. And so for that reason, they are in an endless loop, almost like an Eight of Wands kind of an energy. And so as we become more in tune with ourselves and union within self, they are becoming more and more, I want to say, like, deranged. And not only is their life falling apart, but that 5D pleasant wonderland that we're experiencing, they're more so experiencing the challenges that Okay, so a lot wanted to come through regarding the clarity on the kind of challenges. Um, the kind of challenges that um, they were being faced with. So we got the Three of Swords in reverse, the Five of Cup upright, Nine of Wands in reverse, the Wheel in reverse, the Princess of Sword in reverse, the Seven of Swords, and the Queen of Swords. So what I'm getting from a lot of these swords is that it's piercing the reality of what they've been subscribed to. So it's like they've been running from one cliff to another, and they're coming to realize that onward and forward, the depiction of trying to move forward or trying to submerge themselves in alcoholism or workaholism or anything like that is landing them in the same space. I'm also getting this almost Vesica Pisces coming in and out of everything surrounding around them and through them, but they themselves are empty. And so they want to escape here with the Seven of Swords, but they have no idea where to. Um, and that's what they're being plagued with is they're empty in the sense that everything around them is moving so quickly. The divine feminine is transcending, and it's in her power, it's in her mission, profoundly clairvoyant, coming to self-union, and they're the opposite. And so what I'm getting with a lot of the Prince of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and the Wheel in reverse is a lot of the truths that they've been subscribed to, that they thought were true, that they thought were absolutes, that what is real, they're realizing that is being pierced. It's like I'm getting with all these swords, it's like their matrix is being pierced every which direction, and that as a divine masculine matrix is being pierced, so is the way they are seen to the worlds around them. And so the worlds around them that has been dependent on them is also collapsing, and it's also coming to realization that as we ascend into the five, so this is a message coming through from Spirit, is as we ascend to the 5D, everything that is pegged to distorted capitalism, distorted methods of sales, or distorted income, anything that is not of the heart space is collapsing. And I'm getting that a lot of that have maybe been unemployed are there's jobs that are coming through, and I don't know why this is coming through. Again, I think this is a divine masculine concern, is that not only are their jobs not fulfilling, but it's almost like there is an illusion that everything is okay that is trying to be perpetuated through the divine masculine. I think we see that in every sector of our world, is that the divine masculine is trying to hold on to the 3D paradigm ego reality of truths and alignments, or so they believe, and that is collapsing. But what's interesting is that there's a whole system placating to the fact that it's not, and trying to make everything seem like it's okay when it's not. And as these swords are coming through the worlds around them, and things are being pierced, the illusions, the matrix is being pierced with these swords, is what I'm getting, and it's being pierced every which direction, leaving them not only empty, but the worlds around them collapsing. The symptoms of the worlds around them is collapsing. They can feel the matrix collapsing, but they haven't actually. It's like the tower hasn't fallen yet. They can sense it falling. They can feel it falling. They're running in circles in their mind, trying to hold on to the world as they've known. Because I wanted to circle back to this world card, trying to hold on to the world as they knew it. But you see here this feminine, and you see like all of these shapes being lifted here, and those are. And what I'm getting is that this is the divine feminine rising to their power, and things transcending to the heart space, and everything around it almost like being split like the Red Sea. I don't know why Spirit wants to, but that depiction of like almost like the split of the Red Sea, but it hasn't happened yet. It's like it's almost like that moment where like the staff is in the like right before surrender, but they're in that moment of they don't know if they want to surrender or not because it's easier to try to hold on to that 3D paradigm. And so that's almost the Three of Swords that they're holding on to. And what I'm getting from this Five of Cups and the Nine of Wands in reverse is that there's so many, I want to say emotions, but they're not emotions being poured out. They're delusions. What is emotions to the feminine is delusions to the distorted masculine, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that is our feeling of longing and missing and just wanting to love and the greater good of all for them is the illusion of I want the cars, the clothes, the home. Like I want this white picket fence cookie cutter depicted life. And as they see that that is not only not fulfilling them, but it's falling apart, and that's what they've subscribed to their whole life. They're in that wheel of between the Wheel of Fortune, the Five of Cups, and the Three of Swords is that juxtaposition of to surrender or to actually have their life fall apart as they know it. There's a few. There's just a. There's. It's an interesting energy, guys, and I don't know if you guys feel it. It's like a lot wants to come through, but at the same time, it's like not all consuming. It's just this is for clarity of where the masculine is, and I think and what Sperm says is the reason we're doing these readings is not to hold on to the masculine, but rather to get clarity as to how to navigate the space we're in now and whether we should I want to say deviate or focus, but I feel like yeah. So that is deviate or focus to our mission. And I think what is happening for a lot of the feminines is that this disattachment is almost like all knowing. It's like an all knowing, knowing that we're going to be okay and surrendering to the fact that no matter how much in pain we are, we're going to be okay. And there's clarity coming to being in our power and in our mission. So there's there's a sense of peace, and even for the feminines that are the feminines that are in that pain, there is still peace of being in our alignment, which is what they don't have. They have the pieces of the life they used to know on the verge of falling apart, and there is no inner peace to them about it. There's delusion. There's this sense of losing their mind. And so they're very much in this energy of the Knight of Swords and the Fool. They want to deny the true. And if you see this Knight of Swords, that he has his sword pointing to the light or to the sun here, which is the feminine. He's got a sword pointing to the feminine. He knows that's where his truth is, but this Knight of Swords is blinded. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but he's blinded, even though he's pointing to he knows his heart. He knows in his heart. And if you see this sword, it's almost penetrating like from his heart space, like that's where it's aligned from. But there's a veil over his eyes, and it's the same veil that this Fool here card is also blinded. Like this Fool is almost like in a, I don't know, it's like he's wearing like an astronaut trash bag. I don't know, but he's blinded, and they're very much in willing blind, like willingly blind, and that's where the divine is more so like, I don't want to say unbothered, but is their choice. Like this is a choice at this point. Before they could say like they didn't know what they didn't know, or like they weren't sure, or you know, they were wanting clarity. Clarity they have clarity within their heart space that they're choosing to ignore because they feel like they know better. And here, as you see the divine feminine in her crown chakra and her spirituality, you see the divine masculine almost having this reverse pyramid, almost going back to the pyramid here that is with the world of them that's falling apart to the feminine. But it's this, they're falling apart. They're falling apart as their world has reversed, and their foundation is reversed, and they're falling apart in the emptiness of not being connected, or willing blindness in their delusion for a lot of the masculines. And they're almost in this, what I'm also getting is in this full energy is that they're almost wanting to, like, they want to be the trickster. Oh my god! And the Starman here came out. And cards keep getting flipped. Is this is too many? And so the Starman card keeps coming out, and it's there. And here I'm getting that for a lot of them. It's interesting because it is that in the bottom of the deck is the Emperor, and the Devil card, and the reverse Temperance. So what I'm getting is that the Emperor is in this devil energy, and almost like the Temperance is almost being tested, and it is that juxtaposition where you see them in the brink of ascending, or their life falling apart. And if you see the Starman that came out with the Temperance card and the Emperor in reverse, is almost like the inverse of this card, and that's kind of what they're debating. You see this Starman transcending and ascending to their heart space, into their crown space, inversely to their ego state, which is falling apart. So they are in this feeling of losing their mind, because, you know, for many of these divine masculines, they're disassociated. What I mean by that is a lot of them have like narcissistic tendencies. A lot of them have very very strong attachments to the 3D stuff, and with their narcissistic tendencies, they willingly ignore their inner child and higher self. I think there was a point where they didn't know their identity versus, you know, the role they have in this realm or in this paradigm. Now they're willingly ignoring it. And so, like, and that's kind of what's happening. It's, again, the World card, it is falling apart, and they're in that space of, and sometimes that best thing for everyone is for things to, and then sacrifice is for the in spirit, is for their life to fall apart, because sometimes it's like J.K. Rowling said, and again, because they have these 3D attachments, right? So that's why I compare it to the 3D world and the 3D paradigm. You know, so she said, you know, rock bottom was the solid foundation to which you built everything. And sometimes life does, the ego shadow shelf life does have to fall apart for the proper alignment to transpire and fall through. And it's almost like no one can avoid, very few, it's like we can learn mercifully or not, very few can actually avoid the dark night of the soul to transcend. So what I'm getting here is that the world as they know it is being sacrificed. And so right now the ego is fighting really, really strongly, right? Because the ego is what's hijacked their narrative and their life. So the ego is fighting really strongly in the heart space, or fighting against the heart space, right? Because ego doesn't exist in the heart space. And so everything that the ego's holding on to is being forfeited or sacrificed, is being relinquished, and that's the energy for them, is relinquished, is what's coming through. It is being taken from them, but it's for their greater good. And spirit here, I am getting a lot of clarification and peace here with the spirit card, because what I'm getting is, like, even though they do have free will, I'm getting that their angels here are actually making sure they're going to be okay. Their ego And I think it's important to remember that sometimes when we refer to the divine masculine, there's two things we're referring to simultaneously: the twin flame inner child higher self that lives within them, and that ego. It's almost like when the serpent became free will from divine will, and that ego is what is here being inflamed and consumed. And but spirit is making sure that the inner child and higher self is ultimately going to be okay. I'm getting that a lot of them with their surrender will come peace, because they feel, what I'm getting is that they do feel crazy. They feel like they're losing their minds. So can I get a clarifier for the spirit card, please? Yeah, so I'm getting so what came out is the vegan vegetarian card. So what I'm getting from that is that their body is being cleared and cleansed of the ego, attachment, and paradigms, those 3D toxicities and toxins. And what I'm also getting from this is kind of an interesting message. Is that, a lot of it is environmental, a lot of them is your own free will, and a lot of them is circumstance, right? So in our food and drinks and all these things, there's all these they're injected with all these hormones, and whenever animals are being killed very brutally, they have those stress hormones in them. So it's almost like their body is going through a purification process as well. Okay, so I'm also getting that a lot of them are going up to the workout, to the gym, to the gym a lot. They want to purge. It's like their version of purging their ego is like working out and wanting to get rid of this that is all consuming to them, and it's being released. And what I'm getting for them is that as they are a little bit more attached to these 3D paradigms, they they do a lot of their cleansing ritualistic tendencies with body work, like working out, bodybuilding, diet, their version of detoxing or eating cleaner. Their body is filled with these 3D toxicities. I mean, for a lot of them, I don't know if one of you guys watching this is dating a bodybuilder or someone in performance enhancement supplements. It doesn't have to be steroids, although it could be. I'm getting like a designer steroids like pro hormones, but I'm getting that a lot of these dietary supplements that a lot of these masculines take are very heavy with certain chemicals that exacerbate their adrenal glands, and they can actually make you feel crazy. It's like almost like stronger than caffeine. So I'm getting that a lot of that's being released. And then so as far as spirit goes, it is being released, and working with Archangel Michael to let go of what no longer serves your purpose. So again, this is part of their version of their dark night of the soul, where they feel like, maybe they're losing their job or their income, but that is not in their alignment and wasn't their alignment in the first place. A lot of them that were in a job for knowing it's not in their alignment, just for greed or money or whatever, that will be taken away from them. If they don't transcend that, they will find themselves suddenly not with that option. I'll just leave it at that. And what I'm getting for spirit is that Archangel Raphael is with them, supporting their healing work. And that I'm also getting that we can call on Archangel Michael to help them if you feel guided to do so. I know that not all feminines will feel guided to do that, understandably so. But if you do, that you can do that. And I think this is going back to how, so this just came out. And so I think this goes back to how profoundly, so the crown chakra card came out. The theme of the feminine is the crown spirituality chakra, along with the profoundly clairvoyant. So what I'm getting is that the divine feminine, having already gone through a lot of the dark night of the soul, can, so if they choose to, help lighten the load of the divine masculine through their clairvoyance and through psychic messaging. They can, yeah. So I'm actually going to read the card straight out. So it says, pay attention to your ideas. There are messages of true divine guidance sent answers in your prayer. So what I'm getting is that the divine feminine can choose to pray for the divine masculine, but I'm also being guided to say that what you would be extraordinarily gracious and grateful to do so. Um, what I'm getting is that their load is that can be a little lightened. Is you can lighten it with your prayer, but it's not necessarily the divine. They're going to go through what they need to go through. You can line that load, and it's not whether you can, but whether you should have to. It is. I'll just leave it at that. So, I'm being guided. So I'm just gonna do. Sorry, I want to wrap this up because I know it's going long. But there's just a lot of miscellaneous messages. But I'm feeling like this is for. So spirit guide source. I was guided to draw from this deck regarding orientation and career. Is this for the viewer or is it clarity for the divine masculine? Nope. This is for the viewer and their alignment. And what the divine masculine might what you can do with or without union, what is in your alignment with or without union that your divine masculine could okay could partake with upon union completion, but doesn't. You can do it on your own. I'm getting so this is interesting. So out of that, the deck has a lot of like curriculum cards, and actually none of those really came out. The travel card came out, so I'm getting that for a lot of divine feminines who are in their alignment. There's going to be a lot of traveling, but I'm also getting like astral projection. If you guys are in, I'm getting that a lot of you guys might be in spiritual work and remote healing could also be here in traveling. And it is this almost like this suspended in the idea or illusion of time kind of energy, because the second card is sensitivity, which is you're becoming more sensitive, creative expression, which is to be in your creativity, to express your talent more, and then trust and talk to your angels. So I'm getting that that we are very much very close, if not already, in our alignment. And what is for us to do, we are blessed to have a lot of that divine masculine load lighten, and that we are our divine angels are the sources taking care of us, and what to do next will come in clarity. And source is if there's any more clarification that could come from this video for the viewers regarding what that might be, or just a note on that, being closer to source and spirituality, can you please come through here with the 72 names of God? What is it that should is there anything that the viewer should know right now regarding this? So I got hey Shed Sheen. I recall negative deeds from my past. I reflect on some of my more unpleasant traits. I feel the pain that I have caused others. I ask the light to eradicate all my my negative attributes. The force called repentance, spiritually repairs my past sins and diminishes the dark side of my nature. So what I'm getting from this, and this is one of those things that you might want to look at the screen for and just register the letters, because there's a power in the words and the letters, is that we are in the final stages of self purification and being in our highest potential and alignment. Is there anything else regarding Okay, so we got unconditional love. So we got hey hey Aveen, which like attracts like. When I emulate the creator's love for all humankind, I bring love into my own life. I create harmony between myself and other people, and between humanity and the natural world. I have to draw a card for this and have a thought for that. The second card is uh, this one. So Kev Kuv, sexual energy. So with this name, I purify my desires so that I can share love and my energy with my partner, putting his or her needs ahead of my own. I ignite sexual energy so that my passion helps elevate all existence. I replenish the light that was lost due to any part selfish sexual acts. So this isn't so okay. Um, so I think we got a very clear message here, and that is that for the divine feminine, it's important to remember that unconditional love is a state of being and is not pegged or correlated to one person. And I think that's why it came as clarification for these cards. And because I feel like it is maybe what I was getting from the viewer that wanted more clear, rapid answer is that is ego still wanting answers quickly now as to what to do next. But that we are in our alignment and we desire alignment. That's what makes us a little bit different than divine masculine right now, is that we desire that kind of alignment and clarity. And we're in the final stage of self-purification. With that being said, what this card I think wants to let the divine feminine know is that unconditional love is a state of being, and it is everything and everyone around us. And when we are operating from unconditional love, we have unconditional love for all. And the divine masculine's energetic resonance reflects that same unconditional love when they get to that point, back to us being two souls of pure unconditional love for humanity coming together. Right now, the divine masculine is not there, and the divine feminine, I feel like, could benefit from, I suppose, repentance and clearing any final negativity. With that being said, I think what I'm getting from sexual energy is that it's important to hold that space for the divine masculine if union is something that you desire. I'm getting that a lot of divine feminine are kind of okay with either way. It's almost like in a similar juxtaposition. Do we want to take the red pill or the blue pill, referencing the Matrix? And I feel like the divine masculine is in this purple pill energy where they have one foot in, one foot out, and that's what's driving them crazy. But with that being said, if we want to cleanse that energy, and what I'm getting is also that we can transmute that sexual energy for the ascension of our divine counterpart. And I'm also getting that if this is something that you feel like, maybe you've been promiscuous or been with other people, to try to forget or wash off the longing with your divine masculine, I'm getting that not to be necessarily too harsh on yourself, but maybe reconsider continuing that space and maybe being more in your mental and heart alignment rather than trying to escape. Because for a lot of, and this is trust me, I'm not judging. Like, I get it actually, but it's almost like our way of escapism. For a lot of the feminine, it's like, it's part of the, I want to say distorted, but feminine, but it's not even that harsh. Just, the all-consuming. It's like, okay, well, a karmic or a soulmate or Tinder or whatever, just to, but not to be too harsh on yourself. But if you want to be in union, to maybe try to cleanse that, do a meditation. This is the meditation actually. So if you want to recite this name, Kavav Kuv, from the 72 words of God. It's a Hebrew Kabbalah, and there's a lot of power in those prayers. And to just kind of heal that, you can also maybe watch the YouTube meditation on like healing sexual energy, and to operate in unconditional love. And I did say I was going to pull a card for this, being in unconditional love for all of humanity, because that is a state of being. It is not pegged to one person. So if there is a card that wanted to come through for unconditional love for all of humanity, can Spirit, Divine Source, Light, Higher Power, can you please? Okay, so manifestation of, two cards. And this goes back to, this goes back to, I think, the 17 names of God. Be willing to forgive And I think this repentance also means forgiving yourself. And as I said, it was 44:44 in the timestamp of the video. Be willing to forgive yourself because as the angels clear your mind and body of past pain in exchange for peacefulness. And I'm also getting that, this might be the time to maybe listen to those, aura cleansing meditations or chakra cleansing meditations, and then forgive yourself for anything. Repent to anybody that you might need to for any negativity from the past. And the meditation for that is Hey Sheen. We're gonna look at it. And then forgive yourself ultimately in your in the transgression of becoming a pure channel of the light and to speak from God through me. And as you do that, and I'm actually, I can feel it. As you do that, and I don't know if you guys can feel the cleansing like that's happening even as we say the words and in this prayer. But as we do that, we can then transmute that sexual energy that came through, and because there's a lot of power in sexual desire, and I feel like we all know that. But if anything can manifest whatever you want, is a transmutation of that sexual energy. So what I'm getting from that is, as if you choose to, without judgment, to cleanse that aspect of yourself and sexual energy that you've maybe let go. And I think it's important to right now, if this resonates, to just take a moment and recall any sexual energy you would like to recall from the people that maybe you necessarily didn't want to be with in this moment. As I say this, let's just take that power, that energy back with Kavev Kuv and that name of God to take back all that sensual sexual power that we've made of spread around, for lack of a better term. And as we do that, Matt, you have the option to, if that is something you chose to do, to then transmute that power into manifestation of not only your alignment, but actually your twin flame. And I know this reading's gone really long, but I feel like this is almost a turning point, because as we speak this into a collective, there is a transmutation that happens, especially when we're invoking the 72 names of God and these really powerful Jewish and Hebrew words and letters and Aramaic words and letters. So with this turning point and with this transmutation, oh wow, this card actually landed standing up. No, I wish I could show you guys, but it landed on the foot of my table and it didn't fall. It landed stand up and it said, clear yourself. So as the angels release any toxic energy that you may have absorbed. So again, I think this goes back to your divine feminine. If you want to, I literally just said this, but if you really want to really, really, really manifest everything you ever want, and this is resonating with you, that maybe your sensual energy maybe has been in various places, no judgment, but as we try to escape this all-consuming energy, if that's been yourself, this is a time that if you choose to clear yourself, you absolutely can, and almost put a reset button on the purity. I'm getting that if we can do this, because for a lot of you guys, it's going to be very, very hard, and I'm not going to lie, myself included. But if you can get yourself to this point, and I'm not suggesting that you do, take what resonates, but if you can get yourself to this point, you can manifest anything you want that you're being called to do. And this is the time to literally clear your this was a clearing, guys, and I know it might seem pretentious to say that, but I think this confirmation that this is a clearing, and all you need is to ask your angels to release any toxic energies you may have absorbed. I don't think I need to go into any further clarity as to what that could mean. But all you have to do is take it in, is take in the message to heal and cleanse yourself and let that go if it's something that you feel guided to let it go. And with that being said, I feel like I feel guided to draw from the Romance Oracle decks to bring clarity as to what the divine masculine, what could be in the twin flame dichotomy or union. Or I'm also even being guided to draw soulmate, should we choose to do this, what that could mean, and if so, if this is a turning leaf or a turning point for the feminine or masculine or the twin flame union, as this powerful meditation or action was taken, where do we stand now with that? If a message has come through, keep an open mind. Okay, so we got keep an open mind, make an effort, calling your soulmate. So, what I'm getting from this is a lot of you guys will be met with a soulmate coming into the picture. And I'm being guided to say, like, this is a choice to what degree you want to entertain this. It says great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. To be honest, I'm feeling that a lot of this was being guided to do more so a cleansing for the divine feminine or the viewer of this video. And that the answers are within you. And I feel like almost like the training wheels are off for a lot of the intuitive divine feminines. Because what I'm getting for is what you're being guided to do is that for the divine feminine, it's like in a lot of ways, the answers are already within you. Especially for the collective that's been in this for a while. And if you want to take the soulmate route, you're allowed to. A twin flame, you're allowed to. I'll leave it at that. With that said, in the context of when we said what this clarification or this clarity and purification prayer meditation that happened through this reading could be a turning leaf. I feel like that if we can hold on to that clearing ourselves, manifestation, and that taking back our sensual energy and sexual energy, your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring your twin flame together. And so maybe that's for me, but I think taking those steps to just be in our alignment and to self-purify, as we did earlier in this video with this meditation, and clearing that sensual energy that may be around that as we transmute that root chakra energy. It calls forth our soulmate. Is there clarity as to that was there an awakening or anything that happened with the is there some clarification, prayer, enlightenment that may have happened with the divine masculine through this guided prayer meditation reading? That's a lot. Okay, let's see what it was. I love that, guys. So for a lot of you guys, since we are twin flames and we are the same soul in two bodies, essentially. The cards that came out was I don't think this is a coincidence. We got root connection here. So we got Yesod. And so what I'm getting from that is that a lot of them, something triggered in them. And then we got the endurance card as the second card. And with the right leg. So we got the right leg and the root card. So what I'm getting is that in that transgression of that healing and meditative reading that came through, and the purification process that came through this reading, for those that chose to take that process, is that as we did that within ourselves, a trigger happens in our twin that helps them find their path back to their inner child and their spirituality, and to shed, as we shed those egos and that forgiveness, and we try our best to stay in that place of unconditional love, they can find their ground, and what for us could be the distorted sensual energy of the feminine, they could find their inner child and groundness and unconditional love within themselves, and give them the power to keep going, and the endurance to almost have their, I guess I'm getting the right leg, to keep going in this journey to the path, to their grounded, rooted inner child's higher self path of unconditional love. With that being said, is there any final messages that need to come through? Jeez. For not being as I think I'll consume with the energy and invested, I feel like, in what's going on with the divine masculine right now, a lot's coming through, but it's a different kind of tonality. It's almost like heart to heart with the divine, or like I don't want to say eye to eye. I think maybe that's inappropriate, but heart to heart in just like an honest, open communication. And so you can consider letting go of or having yellow jasper to let go of control issues and utilizing our God given strength and power instead of feeling others might control you. Divine life purpose, spiritual protection, progress on perfection, and spiritual community. So what I'm getting from that is, as light workers united and we all ascend to the 5D together. Um, I want to say that we made it, guys, in the sense that like progress isn't perfect, but we are in our alignment and we're coming together, and there is unconditional love, at least from divine feminine to another. And I think that within of itself is something that oftentimes gets ignored, is a community we've built through this process and this journey, and that we are spiritually protected. So all of these are correlated. Um, and we are in our divine life purpose. I feel like that is what we're all being pushed towards, almost like a funnel. Like that's the kind of image I'm getting, is that we're being pushed towards our divine life purpose, and we are spiritually protected, and we're a strong community of divine beings having spiritual beings having human experience. And progress is not perfection, but that's what we're doing, and we are progressing. And even those of you guys that are watching this video through this whole time, like that's, I mean, a lot happened through this video, and I know that when I do readings, and as I do readings, and as I connect to the light and the divine, I know that there's changes happening in the collective, and that's very powerful. And so we are, a lot of the collective that were associated like with us and the Enchanted World of Twin Flames, we are in a lot of ways the leads in the energy and for humanity in the collective as Twin Flames, which are rare to come by. We are leading humanity into the next paradigm. So um a final card is this is beautiful. So Lamed Kafbet, I am endowed with the power to conclude everything I begin, especially tasks and goals of spiritual nature. So I think that I don't think it could be any more clear. I think summarize it. After the cleansing, we're very much inner power. Lamed Kafbet is, we are concluding everything we begin, and stacks of spiritual nature coming into alignment and being in that purpose. And in the state of unconditional love and transcending. I think for a lot of us, we are in the next phase of the twin flame journey. We're in the evolution of phase 2 of this journey of unconditional love and showing what that is to the worlds around us, and being in our power and our purpose for the ascension process that is so much bigger than us in that moment. So I'm pretty sure that's it. If any final notes want to come out, please do so. So that was a lot of cards, and we got that. I think that Justice Card, which I think is just final balancing is what I'm getting. The balancing between and then that the Tower card, but like the I'm getting that transcending tower. Like it's almost like the tower that's rising from the ashes. That card is the bottom of the deck. Strength. I mean, strength. The wheel. I mean, a lot of the same cards, guys. But yeah, the leap of faith. I feel like the divine feminines are we're in our power and our alignment. And there's a balancing act happening with the. That's what I'm getting. It's the justice is. Fighting for justice and equality, rulings in your favor, don't give up, and then the Three of Babel being the top card, prosperity arising from wise planning, time to take the next step, optimistic plans turn out as expected, and I think that just goes back to being in our alignment. I feel like there's more than wants to come through, but we're already at an hour. But hey, I guess if you want to stay for the duration of this, and feel free to do so. So as we are in phase 2 of the divine journey, what are any final thoughts, messages, final or not final. I don't want to call time space anything else. If just one more message or final thoughts, I guess I would hopefully have one card for that confirmation. If it's multiple things that want to come through, then we'll multiple cards. So any final thoughts, notes, or are we good? Spirit, divine, angels. We got the Six of Michael. Is the light at the end of the tunnel. Breathe a sign of relief and make new plans, relocation, or travel. So I feel like that is a very clear message that of everything we talked about is the light at the end of the tunnel. Breathe a sign of relief and make new plans. And I think that speaks to being in our alignment and in our power and in the transformative process we just did and healing and clearing process we just did. And this is not the end. This is the beginning of a much more fulfilling, brighter, and fulfilled heart space future, guys. So I hope the video was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below. Obviously, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this reading, and I will see you guys next time.